There is something happening in your legs right now that your doctor has almost certainly never mentioned to you. And if you are over 60, it is already costing you. Not just strength, not just comfort, but the ability to walk to your mailbox without gripping the railing, the ability to stand up from a chair without bracing yourself, the ability to move through your own home without that quiet, growing fear of what happens if you stumble. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people over 60 are doing exactly what they were told to do. They walk, they stay active, they think they are covering all the bases. But there is one specific type of strength that walking never touches, and losing it is the single biggest reason people over 60 end up dependent on others. Today, I am going to show you the #1 exercise that directly targets that exact weakness. And I promise you, it is not what you expect. Before we get to the exercise itself, I need to explain something that most fitness advice for seniors completely ignores. And once you understand this, everything will make sense. Your leg muscles are not one uniform tissue. They are made up of different types of fibers. Slow twitch fibers handle endurance, the kind of effort that keeps you going on a long walk. Fast twitch fibers handle power and speed, the kind of explosive, reactive strength that catches you when you stumble, that launches you out of a chair, that stabilizes your hip when you step off a curb. After the age of 60, research shows that fast twitch fibers atrophy at a rate 2 to 3 times faster than slow twitch fibers. Walking, which is a low-load, repetitive forward movement, recruits almost exclusively your slow twitch system. That means every year you walk and do nothing else, the gap between your endurance and your reactive strength gets wider. And that gap is where falls happen. That gap is where independence ends. A research team studying men and women over 70 found something that should be on the front page of every health magazine. The raw number of steps a person took each day had almost no predictive value for whether they remained independent. But specific strength patterns in the legs, particularly lateral hip stability, ankle reactivity, and the ability to generate force quickly, were among the strongest predictors of long-term functional independence. Steps do not save you when you slip on a wet floor. Strength saves you. So let us build that strength. I am going to walk you through 4 targeted movements today, each one selected from clinical research, each one building a specific layer of protection. And then we will arrive at the #1 exercise, the one that combines everything into a single daily habit that can genuinely change the trajectory of your mobility. Now, the first movement I want you to understand is one that almost no mainstream fitness program for seniors ever includes. And that is a significant mistake because the research behind it is striking. I am talking about high-speed calf raises. Not slow, gentle calf raises, but deliberate, brisk, controlled calf raises, performed at a pace that challenges your nervous system. Here is the mechanism. Your calves are responsible for 2 things that most people never think about separately. First, they push blood back up through your veins against gravity, which is why they are sometimes called your second heart. Second, and critically, they generate the rapid torque that catches your body weight when you stumble. That second function depends entirely on fast twitch activation. Slow calf raises train endurance. Fast calf raises train survival. A study examining men over the age of 70 found that an 8-week program of bodyweight calf raises performed 3 times per week increased the rate of torque development in the calf muscles by approximately 21%. 21% more reactive power in the ankles in just 8 weeks. The same participants also showed significant improvement in single-leg balance, which is one of the most sensitive clinical markers for fall risk in older adults. Here is how to perform this correctly. Stand behind a sturdy chair or at your kitchen counter. Place both hands lightly on the surface, not for support, but for safety. Rise onto the balls of your feet as quickly as you can control. Not sloppy, not jerky, but brisk. Then lower back down in 2 full seconds. That slow descent is where the eccentric strength is built. Aim for 3 sets of 15 repetitions. The speed on the way up is the medicine. Do not rush the way down. Here is your next layer of protection, and this one is going to feel deceptively simple. But do not let that fool you. The tandem stand, also called the heel-to-toe position, is simultaneously one of the most powerful screening tools in geriatric medicine and one of the most effective training exercises for lateral stability. And almost nobody is doing it. Here is why this matters biologically. When you stand normally, your feet are roughly hip-width apart. Your brain is managing balance across a wide base. The moment you narrow that base, placing one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching the toes of the back foot, you are forcing your nervous system to manage lateral stability almost entirely. The muscles along the outer hip, the deep stabilizers of the ankle, and the proprioceptive sensors in your feet are all suddenly working at full capacity. Clinical research shows that adults who cannot hold the tandem position for at least 10 seconds have a significantly elevated risk of falling. Not slightly elevated, significantly. One neurologist who has studied balance extensively recommends beginning this practice as early as age 40, holding the heel-to-toe position for 30 full seconds, because it specifically trains the lateral stability that fails in the majority of real-world falls. Here is your protocol. Stand beside your kitchen counter or a stable wall. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe. Hold for 30 seconds, then switch feet. That is one set. Perform 2 sets per side daily. Once this feels manageable, close your eyes for the last 10 seconds of each hold. That single modification dramatically increases the neurological demand and accelerates your progress. Now I want to pause here for a moment because I know some of you watching this are thinking, I already do balance exercises. I already feel like I am being careful, and I want to be direct with you. Careful is not the same as strong. The research is very clear on this. A systematic review published on balance interventions for older adults found that the programs producing the greatest improvements in reactive balance, the kind that actually prevents falls in real life, were not the gentle, careful programs. They were the programs that combined strength training with movements that challenged the nervous system to respond quickly. The body adapts to what you demand of it. If you only ever train slowly and carefully, your body will only ever respond slowly and carefully, and the real world does not give you a warning before it tests you. This brings us to the third movement, and this one might surprise you. I want you to start walking backwards. Not far, not fast, but deliberately, and with a specific purpose. Backward walking is one of the most underused and most clinically validated tools for improving balance in older adults, and the mechanism behind it is genuinely fascinating. When you walk forward, your brain has a well-rehearsed program. It knows the sequence, the timing, the muscle recruitment pattern. That program runs almost automatically. When you walk backward, that program does not apply. Your nervous system has to recruit muscles in a different sequence, shift weight distribution toward the forefoot, and engage proprioceptive pathways that forward walking almost never uses. A meta-analysis examining backward walking across multiple studies found significant improvements in balance parameters and a measurably improved ability to respond to lateral perturbations, unexpected pushes or stumbles from the side. Here is the practical protocol. Stand in your hallway or beside your kitchen counter. Take 10 slow, deliberate steps backward, keeping your hands within reach of the wall or surface. Then pause. Then 10 steps forward. That is 1 round. Perform 3 rounds daily. The key is staying close to a stable surface, not because you will fall, but because proximity to safety allows your nervous system to commit fully to the movement without holding back. Clinical work confirms that this proximity actually enhances the training effect, because the body learns to use demanding balance strategies without the override of fear. Now we arrive at the number 1 exercise, the one that the research points to most consistently, the one that combines hip stability, ankle reactivity, proprioceptive training, and functional strength into a single movement you can perform anywhere, anytime, for the rest of your life. I am talking about marching in place, but not the casual shuffling version you might have seen in a chair exercise video. I mean deliberate, structured, therapeutic marching, performed with specific attention to the rotation phase of each step. Here is why this exercise earns the top position. A 12-week clinical study with older adults who were assessed as being at risk of falling used structured marching in place, including the rotational phase where the foot pivots slightly during the swing, as the primary intervention. At the end of 12 weeks, participants improved their timed up and go score by approximately 3.5 seconds. That is a massive clinical shift. The timed up and go test, where you rise from a chair, walk 3 meters, turn, walk back, and sit down, is one of the gold standard assessments of fall risk in geriatric medicine. A reduction of 3.5 seconds in that score is the difference between a clinician flagging you as high risk and clearing you as functionally safe. The same participants also improved their forward reach by nearly 5 centimeters and showed measurable reductions in resting blood pressure and heart rate. A separate program that combined daily marching in place with chair stand repetitions found that even frail, older adults showed improvements in activities of daily living and functional mobility. The authors described this low-intensity combination as the most practical and accessible baseline routine available for home use. No equipment, no gym, no special floor. Just your body, a small amount of space, and the commitment to do it every day. Here is the precise protocol. Stand behind your chair, both hands resting lightly on the back. Lift your right knee until your thigh is parallel to the floor, or as close as you can comfortably reach. As the foot rises, allow a slight natural rotation. The foot turns gently outward as it lifts, just as it does in a real walking stride. Hold for 1 full second at the top. Lower the foot back down with control. Do not let it drop. Repeat on the left side. That is 1 cycle. Perform 20 full cycles, 10 per leg, as your starting set. Rest for 60 seconds. Then perform a second set. As you build strength over the first 2 weeks, add a third set and begin increasing the height of the knee lift. The rotation component is not optional. It is the element that trains the hip rotators and the deep stabilizers of the pelvis, the muscles that control your stride width, your lateral balance, and your ability to redirect your weight when the ground is uneven. Without the rotation, you are performing a less effective version of the exercise. With it, you are training the full functional chain that keeps you upright in real life. Now, I want to give you one final piece of this program because the research supports combining the marching with one specific supplementary movement for maximum effect, and that is the lateral hip raise at the chair. Stand beside your chair, holding the back with one hand. Lift your outer leg directly to the side, not forward, not backward, until your foot is approximately 20 to 30 centimeters off the floor. Hold for 2 seconds. Lower with control. Perform 15 repetitions per side. A randomized controlled trial found that progressive hip abductor strengthening, targeting exactly this movement, increased hip moment by approximately 25%. When this was combined with reactive step training, future falls were reduced by up to 74% in the study population. 74%. That is not a marginal benefit. That is a transformation in risk profile. The gluteus medius, the muscle on the outer hip that this exercise directly targets, is the primary controller of pelvic stability during walking. When it is weak, your pelvis drops with every step. That drop shifts your center of gravity, narrows your margin of stability, and forces compensations throughout the entire kinetic chain. Strengthening it is not optional if you want to walk safely. It is foundational. So here is your complete daily routine, built from clinical evidence and designed to take no more than 15 minutes. Begin with 3 sets of 15 high-speed calf raises at your counter. Move to the tandem stand, 30 seconds per side, 2 sets per side. Then 3 rounds of 10 backward steps in your hallway. Then you're marching in place, 2 to 3 sets of 20 cycles with full rotation. Finish with 15 lateral hip raises per side. That sequence, performed daily, targets every major weakness that research identifies as predictive of falls and loss of independence after 60. I want to leave you with one thought. The research on aging and mobility is unambiguous on one point. Decline is not inevitable. What is inevitable if you do nothing is that the gap between what your body can do and what daily life demands of it will grow. But the same research shows with equal clarity that the gap can be closed. Not with a gym membership, not with expensive equipment, with specific, consistent, targeted movement performed at home. The body you have at 70, at 75, at 80 is not fixed. It is responsive, and it is waiting for you to give it a reason to stay strong. If this video gave you something useful, please take 5 seconds and leave a comment below telling me which of these exercises you're going to start with today. That comment takes you 5 seconds, and it tells me exactly what to cover next, so I can keep bringing you the content that actually makes a difference in your daily life. And if you know someone over 60 who is struggling with weak legs or balance, share this video with them. It costs you nothing, and it might genuinely change their trajectory. I will see you in the next one.